What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV, aka Darth Apocalypse. All right, so yesterday, a lot of us were telling you all who will follow our platforms, those of us who go in on Klutch on a daily basis, and rightfully so, that now, just a week after the formal announcement was made that Freudian slip there, that LeBron James will be joining the Philadelphia 76ers. Just a week. Now it's apparent that they're targeting Joel Embiid as the chief scapegoat. That doesn't necessarily mean that Jaylen Brown is totally safe or VJ Edgecombe is totally safe, right? But clearly they're targeting Joel Embiid. All right? You had Max Kellerman say that if he had a say in it, he would trade Joel Embiid. Chiefly, I guess, because of the injury history and the perception that his best days are behind him. Recently, on the Game Over podcast, Rich Paul, although he says it sort of in passing, talks about how this is Tyrese Maxey's team. Even though Joel Embiid has the responsibility as the face of the team, the face of the franchise. If things don't go well, you blame him. But this is somehow Tyrese Maxey's team. That sounds very familiar, right? One guy gets credit when things go right. He's the face. But if things go wrong, another guy gets all the blame. Not the perceived star of the team. That's the Klutch way, apparently. Guess we know who's getting the torch passed to him, huh? Anyway, he also goes on, Rich Paul, to say that VJ Edgecombe should embrace his lesser role. And that less is more, etc., whatever bullshit he's trying to spew here.
Decision making in terms of who to feed, in terms of when to score, is impeccable. And he think, might be the fifth option on the team. I think based on what's available.
Yeah, I think Tyrese is probably going to benefit the most in all ways because he's not the youngest, but he's a perennial all-star now, and it's his team. The second most benefactor is VJ Edgecombe. And the reason why I say that is because if he embraces it the right way and don't listen to anybody on these social media channels in terms of
you're only averaging 12.5 points this year.
That don't matter.
Right. Does not matter.
Because points don't necessarily equate to a deal all the time. I think people get that's so confusing.
OG Anunoby got, because he's a winning player, and it was very clear, his quality of his play when healthy was very clear, got $200-something million.
Yeah, it's value. Because it's value.
Edgecombe, to me, out of everyone on that team, I would, and by the way, I know Maxey is your guy. I might take Edgecombe's future over everyone. Edgecombe, as a rookie, did a couple things. First of all, he's very athletic, and secondly, he can shoot. But what I saw, Rich, when you see an athletic guy who can shoot as a rookie having a good season, I want to know how he plays when the pressure gets ratcheted up. He played well in the playoffs as a rookie.
Yeah,
a rookie.
But if you watch the games, there's a lot to unpack. My thing with VJ is the reason why I say he's going to benefit is because it's almost like when Rockefeller was selling oil, right? Well, there's a substance that runs off of that oil that they don't use, which is kerosene. So in your game, you're being able to separate the two. Yes, VJ is ultra talented, athletic, can do it all, etc. But sometimes me being able to do it all can lead to, maybe it's a bad shot attempt.
Right.
Maybe it's not understanding
That's
time
a
of possession.
That's a great,
Maybe.
great analogy or metaphor. Great metaphor.
So when you think about it, the reason why I say he's going to benefit, because now he's going to be able to become such an efficient player and understanding, more importantly, I told Tristan this when LeBron came back to Cleveland. I said, Tristan, there's 5 pockets on a pair of jeans. That little one, be right there, because you're going to benefit so much from that. Tristan was averaging like 8 points and 8 rebounds and got $82 million.
Right. I totally, I agree with everything you're saying, by the way, every word. The most dangerous kind of team is the kind of team where you have players capable of doing much more than they're doing, but on this team, that's what they have to do, because what that really indicates, and by the way, this was MJ's whole game. When people look at Kobe and they go, Kobe improved on MJ and da-da-da-da. But actually, MJ was more efficient. MJ dribbled less. MJ, when you watch MJ, the big difference to me between him and other players was he didn't do a thing he didn't have to do. And if Edgecombe can learn that stuff, which is, you're saying, get rid of the kerosene, right?
The thing that I'm starting to wonder is, maybe you guys have the suspicion too. I get the impression that when it comes to this whole LeBron James experiment in Philly, I get the impression that Jaylen Brown, for the most part, I guess, has given his blessing to the whole situation. He seems to be receptive to it. VJ Edgecombe probably has been in communication with them. I get the impression that Joel Embiid is probably the one guy who, and maybe I'm wrong, who probably has a problem with this. And I'm not saying that's the only reason why they're not giving him any props. And like I said, I don't know what it was said after this. Maybe they did mention Joel Embiid, but I didn't hear them mention Joel Embiid in that clip. He mentioned everybody else except for Joel Embiid. And, about VJ Edgecombe. Isn't this the same dude, Rich Paul, that said, when it was brought up that Michael will average 40 in today's game, he said, well, look, man, tell Rich Paul, these guys today, man, they're not going to be giving up shots just to have one guy take more shots. These guys today are, they're more self-centered. They're more concerned about, showing their value, because then they have to worry about their market value. Didn't he say that? Didn't he say that a couple of weeks ago? What was it, a month or so ago? But now VJ Edgecombe can average 10 points a game, and somehow his market value will increase. And that guy's ask you a question. If Jalen Brunson was still playing behind Luka Doncic on Dallas, as opposed to going to the New York Knicks, defying the critics, Stephen A. Smith, you fake Knicks fan, becoming an all-star level player, and having a once-in-a-lifetime historic run as a New York Knick, which one has more value in the market? Dallas Mavericks Brunson or New York Knicks Brunson? It's not even a thing you have to think about. It's all bullshit. They're holding VJ Edgecombe back. They're holding him back. I don't know if they're trying to turn him into like a Sixers version of Bulls Ron Harper or some shit already. But no. Harper had the knee issues. VJ Edgecombe is just starting his career. And if Joel Embiid And first of all, let me say this too. Of course, you're going to say that about Maxey. Forgot to even totally mention this yet, because he's with Klutch. It's Klutch or bust, baby. Of course, you're going to say this is his team. Knowing good goddamn well that this is Joel Embiid's team. Now, of course, he defers more to Maxey now than before because of injuries. I do have questions about that knee, obviously. Serious questions about Joel Embiid's knee, and injury, injury history. You wonder what's going to happen this year. But if I'm Joel Embiid, I do have a problem with this situation because let's look at something else too. Joel Embiid has now played with some very interesting personalities in Philly. He's played with some very interesting, polarizing personalities. He's played now with Jimmy Butler, who was, if I recall correctly, you guys can refresh my memory, openly critical of him in public. He's played with Ben Simmons, who I believe was one of the most low-key sociopathic players in the history of the game. He don't give up. I just don't give up. That dude literally doesn't care. He's out there scamming teams for checks, refusing to shoot over diminutive point guards in the post, has psychological problems, is more interested in having a check to bang Instagram models and refuses to really work on his game except for the post, misleading summertime videos, make it say this could be the year Ben Simmons is going to be magic. Miss me with that. Dude, show a highlight of him, dominating high schoolers and college kids. But, you know what I'm saying? Then he's played with James Harden. He's played with James Harden, the same guy that, snuck off from his old team to go to Philly. And then when things went wrong, he bashed his teammates and his head coach low key, and then, slaked off into the night. So yeah, if I'm Joel Embiid, I'm very, very leery, I should say. I'm very leery of a guy like LeBron James, who wants to be who moves like a mob boss. He could already see it. We see it. But, it is what it is, man. So if this is his team, then why put the whole meal? Basically, if you're going to feed Tyrese Maxey, if you're going to give him the whole feast, why Joel Embiid got to do cleanup? Wash the dishes, sink, wash the goddamn spoons and forks and knives, clean up the goddamn table, sweep all the cheese crumbs and all that shit. Like, whatever, man. But anyway, that's all I got to say about it. Tell me what you guys think.
Hmm.